Inside Foos presents FoosTalk Live.
One of the things that I think somebody had mentioned to me that they were curious about was my favorite movie. And I think this is a no-brainer, so hopefully everybody will agree with me. I've watched this movie many times. It's actually a trilogy, and I could watch it again today and still make me laugh. It's the Austin Powers series. I think the world would do us some good right now with everybody stressed out that we all just watch all three of those.
It's FoosTalk Live.
You talking to me?
Compelling and lively banter.
Are you going to talk to us?
Talking foosball.
Foosball was how I measured my value as a man. You took that away.
Players and fans, promoters and pros. Unedited and raw.
Talk.
Living in the moment.
We have a lot of important things to talk about.
All while practicing social distancing.
Cool. We'll talk. No big whoop.
Let's get this thing started. FoosTalk Live. Thanks for tuning in to episode 95 of FoosTalk Live. As you already know, professional foosball competition for the 2022 season is now officially underway. The tour kickoff is nearly over at the Clarion Hotel in Lexington, Kentucky this evening. 272 players have put their best efforts on the foosball table for the 2022 Kentucky State Championships. FoosTalk Live is proud to bring you all the latest results of these well-fought contests. In just a few moments, Keith Glen of Inside Foos will join us live from the floor at Kentucky State's to give us a close-up view. Meanwhile, let's get caught up with all the results thus far. Beginning with the ladies' events. Judy Scober took first place in amateur singles, pushing aside her doubles partner, Kira Schell. Both ladies are from Ohio. In women's amateur doubles, Betty Barnett of Texas and Branny Schroppel of Ohio crushed the hopes of Judy Schober and her partner, Kira Schell. Moving on to the women's expert singles event, the pride of Ohio, Branny Schroppel, took the crown, beating Stella McGraw of North Carolina in the finals. Looking in on women's expert doubles, Betty Barnett of Texas once again made it to the finals, but was defeated, along with her partner Daphne Wells of Florida, by Stella McGraw of North Carolina and Marie McClure of Tennessee. When it comes to women's open singles, out of 13 players in the field, foosball phenom Sullivan Rue of Louisiana battled Ellen Moon for first place. Sullivan turned in yet another amazing performance to take out Moon. Here's what happened in the junior singles event. Ryan Cumel of Montana put on a great performance, defeating Indiana's Paul Campofiore, one of 4 Campofiore family members in that competition. Checking in on the seniors events, North Carolina's Rick Macias took both the senior singles and doubles, first against Bruce Nardoci in the finals of singles, then Rick and Bruce defeated Ron Moore of Indiana and Dave Deffenbaugh of Illinois in the senior doubles finals. When watching the beginner events in Kentucky, they don't play like beginners. In beginner singles, Indiana's Spencer McCreary made it all the way to third place. In second place was Joe Iapicino of Tennessee, and Kentucky's own Gabriel Torres took the big win. The competition was fierce in the rookies division. Out of a field of 80 players, first place in rookie singles went to Gabriel Torres of Kentucky, who also won beginner doubles. Looking at the amateur division in the singles event, 94 players battled it out, with Felipe Sales of Massachusetts edging out Ohio's Brett Ramey for the top spot. Moving on to Handicapped Doubles, the team of Alex Romero of Colorado and Canadian Jake Barnett steamrolled their way to victory, taking out Michel Nasty and Minnesota player Eric Balkos in the finals. With the pro singles event, Michael Stahl Jr. of Michigan has removed all doubt of his ability to close the deal as he defeated Gustavo Siles of Costa Rica. The story of the weekend is in the open mixed competition with 21 teams. Kentucky State Hall of Famers Ryan Moore and his mom, Mary Moore, pulling out a big win over Kathy and Tommy Atkinson of Oklahoma. Congrats to Mary and her son Ryan for being inducted into the Kentucky Foosball Hall of Fame last night. Now in some of the open events, 61 players went head-to-head in open singles, with the breakthrough performance of Brandon Munoz besting Blake Robertson for the title. What a weekend for Brandon. Congratulations to all of the winners of the USTSO sanctioned events in Kentucky. Michael De La Paz won in rookies. Stephen Darby took the amateur division. The expert winner was Michelle Nusty. Michael Stahl won in the pro level, and Tony Sprademan won for Masters. In the U.S. TSO sanctioned events for the women, Hannah Smith won in women's D1 and Sandy Luaris took women's D2. We would also like to give a hearty job well done to Matt McCrory of Buffalo, New York, who won not just one, but two of the non-conflict DYPs at Kentucky State this weekend. Way to go, Matt. And we're still preparing for the finals of beginner doubles, junior doubles, designated mixed, expert mixed, pro singles, pro doubles, and open doubles, all soon to take place in Kentucky State Championships. What do you say we head there live right now with one of the voices of Inside Foos, with his boots firmly planted on the ground at the Clarion Hotel in Lexington? Here's Keith Glen. Hello, Keith.
Hey, Tom, how's it going?
What's happening, man? So it's a long weekend. It's a long weekend there in Kentucky. What's the weather like?
Well, that was I was supposed to say. It's, boots on the ground was pretty appropriate. We Thursday night all the way through Friday, it snowed.
Really?
And yeah, there's still a little bit on the ground. Most of it melted today. It warmed up a little bit, but yeah, it's been a cold one, especially for those of us that came up from the south. But yeah, it was cool to get to see it snow, at least for me. New Englander by birth, and I haven't seen it in a while, but that was fun. But yeah. Well, some people had some trouble getting here, but everybody got here eventually, and it's been a great weekend of foosball.
Oh my God, I've been watching some of the play-by-play on Inside Foos, and there's just, it's one thrilling match after another. It just seems like it's just nonstop. So
yeah,
you've been calling a lot of matches. You got a favorite so far? Anything that you want to mention that you've enjoyed?
We've had some good ones. It's been a weekend of upsets, and as you guys have been talking about, we've been talking about a lot over the last year, is the youngsters.
Yes.
One of the better ones we got was JLE against King Gabriel in Open to get to the King Seat match. That was a bit of a surprise after he defeated Tony Sprademan.
Right.
That was a big one. We've had we just saw in Open Doubles Carlos Cespedes Martinez and Brendan Munoz were defeated by Blake Robertson and Shannon Coley.
Mm-hmm.
That was an incredible match. Went in overtime. Fought for every ball. Both teams played well, but
that one went on. That one
Shannon came on.
It seemed to go on forever because I had tuned out briefly and then came back and they were still playing. It was like,
it was a long one.
Yeah, really was very long. I heard you and Tony doing the play-by-play on that one. How was that going?
Fantastic. It was awesome to be able to get Tony in the booth with me. I think he's before he goes down and does some more of the same at the Thunderdome.
Yep.
But great to have Tony in the booth. I've had a couple great guest commentators. Brandon and Carlos themselves got on and did it with Mark a little earlier. So it's been a potpourri of announcers, but it's been a lot of fun and a lot of good foosball to cover. So
no doubt about that. So let's talk about some of the youngsters. I mean, Sullivan Rue and Sammy in pro doubles tonight. Wow, what's going on there?
Yeah, they've toppled some giants. I saw them beat Greg Mendel. I'm not entirely sure who he was playing with, but off the top of my head, but they're still sitting in the winners bracket. I believe they've won some really tough matches, and they're still going. And it's just it's amazing to watch these youngsters just beat seasoned pros on the other side of the table.
No doubt about it. No, I think there's something to be said for youth and exuberance, especially after a long weekend like this. The stamina. They've got boundless energy because Sammy's still 13, and Sullivan, what's she, 18?
Yeah, I think 18, 19 maybe.
Right.
I don't know exactly how old she is, but yeah, teenagers, and definitely cool to see them beating some big dogs. So that's been a great event to watch. And actually, while Tony and I were in the booth calling that open doubles match, I caught him a couple of times looking across the booth, trying to keep an eye on that one because they just beat a couple of his buddies out of Milwaukee. They're a very good. I guess they're only experts, but they're playing like pros.
Was it Balzos and I've forgotten the other player's name?
Rob Balza and Greg Rushing.
There you go, Balza and Rushing.
The last match we saw.
Yes.
And so it's been really cool to see these youngsters do what they've done this weekend.
Yeah, I often wonder, when a seasoned pro or a seasoned pro master goes up against a 13-year-old child and finds themselves in trouble. How do they cope with that?
Yeah, well, there's going to be a big pool of players to interview to get that perspective after this weekend. There's a lot of them.
That is if they want to talk about it at all, right?
Yeah, and my guess is they probably don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really cool to see them do what they've done, and they're not the only ones. As you mentioned at the Open, Michael De La Paz defeated Jacob Palkos in the rookie division of the USTSO final, but then Jacob finished top 10 in open singles. He took the king seat in expert singles. I think they're still waiting to play that match, and
Right.
so there's been it's a lot of youngsters, and as you mentioned, Gabriel Torres took a couple titles home. He's the newest, I think, of that generation of kids that start at the bottom, and then a year from now we'll be talking about him finishing way up there in open. So
Let's
it's been a
yeah, I was just going to say, let's talk about this guy Jake Bennett. I believe is from Canada.
Oh, Jake Barnett, yeah,
Jake Barnett, yeah.
That's been a pretty good headline too. He obviously, actually, you mentioned him and Alex Romero won handicap singles.
Yep.
They beat us on me and my partner Jimmy Love and on game 3 meatball, and then they went on to win the whole thing.
Really?
But yeah, Jake really he got thrown in kind of into the fire. Mario Rigonello made a last minute decision to come. He was going to play with a player out of Florida who, for I'm not sure why, but had to bail last minute. Found out Friday afternoon, I think it was.
Okay.
He wasn't going to make it. So Mario, his regular partner Kane had been planning on coming for a while, so he was already paired up with Tommy Atkinson, and they're getting ready to play the Open Doubles final. So Mario had to find a partner, and Jake answered the call.
That's great.
They made it to the king seat match. Tommy and Kane got him, but third place for a young man that was winning amateur and rookie titles just a few months ago. That's definitely something to hang his hat on. So really cool to see Jake play.
Yeah. Now, Jake, of course, has a background. Apparently, he's been considered a genius in astrophysics.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't know that was the specific field, but I did. Someone explained that to me this weekend. He's got a very high IQ. I saw that apparently we posted a video that he's done a TED Talk.
Yeah.
So he's definitely an interesting figure here in our sport, and he's going to be making waves for a while. But yeah, very you can just tell. He found something that he loved in foosball, and he applied that genius to it, and he's excelling for sure.
Wow, so that could be a serious threat. So what is his age? Do you know?
I actually found out the other night. He's 23.
23. Gotcha.
Yeah, I thought he was a little younger, but yeah, he's 23 years old.
Wow, that's amazing. That's very cool. But an actual genius in foosball. Well, there's quite a few of them actually when it comes to geniuses on the table, no doubt. But another an astrophysics genius among the rest. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's not the kind of guy you want trying to figure out your snake shot on the other side of the table. If you can do astrophysics, you can figure out which side's your strong side for sure.
What is he? Force times mass equals, I forgot
You're not
all those formulas.
Yeah. Wow,
very cool. So how about you? Now, you've been playing a little bit this weekend. How you been doing?
I've been playing, and I guess considering how things started out, I can't be too bummed about how things ended. I basically, I know you're a baseball fan. A lot of our listeners are, and our colleagues are. But I had a case of the yips, to put it politely.
Okay.
And but I managed to get it figured out, and I got to give a big thank you to Michael Stahl Jr. for that. He gave me a couple minutes of his time, and that's about all it took to get it ironed out a little bit. So able to collect things and bounce back a little bit, but yeah, it hasn't been great, but like I said, I know what I need to work on before the Thunderdome, and
sure,
looking forward to playing a little better there in a couple of weeks. So
well, we definitely have to talk about the Thunderdome for sure, but I think before we get to that, let's talk about what's yet to come here. We've got a lot more matches yet to be played. Let's take a look at the biggies. Let's talk about Open Doubles. What do you think is going to happen there?
That's a tough one to call. Kane and Tommy squaring off against Blake Robertson and Shannon Coley.
Yep.
The numbers would suggest, with Shannon only being a pro, that Kane and Tommy have the advantage. But Shannon's been playing really, really well.
Yes.
Got the key blocks when he needed to against one of the hottest players here in Brandon Munoz to get to that final. And it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. It looked like Blake was really feeling it there at the end of that last match against Jake and Mario to get there. So it's going to be a tough one. But it's anybody's guess. If I had to pick one team, I'd say probably Kane and Tommy have the edge. But it really is a coin flip at this point.
Right. Now, are the team of More and More, are they still in contention for the Open Doubles, or are they out?
They made it pretty deep, but They were eliminated. Brandon Munoz and Carlos Cespedes Martinez were the team that put them out. But they made a
Gotcha.
nice little run. They made it pretty deep.
That's great. No, that's great. I was
Yeah.
going to say, how ironic would it be if Blake had to face Ryan in
Yeah,
open
right.
doubles, right? Given what they did together at the Tornado Championships just a little while ago. I mean, that would have been
Yeah.
ironic to say the least.
Yeah, reigning world champs. And I'm not sure who put either of them. They may have squared off earlier in the bracket. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't keep a
Okay.
super close eye on it.
Okay.
But I'm not sure who put each of them in the losers. It could have been one of the others. So.
Sure. Right. Understood. Anybody else you think, as far as the Open is concerned, what are the potentials there for some other battles?
Well, so open doubles, it's down to the final match.
Oh, it is.
The events have been running super quick.
Okay.
Open singles started Friday. They got all but the final played on Friday.
Okay.
It's been the talk of the efficiency of tournaments, and this one's been moving very, very quickly. So there's only one match left in open doubles, and that'll be coming on table one in just a little bit on InsideFoos.com. Right now, the other big one that we're looking at is the women's open doubles final that's going on right now.
Right now,
over on table one.
And who's on the table?
Hannah Smith and Sylvan Rue had the king seat, or probably queen seat, excuse me. And the team attempting to double dip them is Maggie Strong and Dusty Vembenek out of Ohio.
I see. So, yeah, I had a feeling about that. Yeah. That makes a whole lot of sense. That those four ladies are on the table together now. I would say the smart money's on Sullivan. More than likely, Sullivan and Hannah.
Yeah, the way that she's been playing lately, and especially, I'm pretty sure I saw her and Sammy switching in pro doubles, and she's clearly in a little bit of a groove. It's going to be a tall mountain to climb to double dip them, but Maggie and Dusty, very strong team, so anything can happen. But I think if I had to pick a dog in that fight, I think I'd go with Sullivan and Hannah.
Right. I mean, Hannah as well is a force to be reckoned with. I mean, she is one tough player. And she joined us once on FoosTalk Live, and really very impressive, very, very smart individual, and has quite a lot of interest in life. But she really seems dedicated to anything she does. So, yeah, I think that's a force to be reckoned with, not just tonight, but every time that those two play together, they're going to be a serious danger to anyone they play.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think it's a surprise to anybody that those are the four ladies left. And it'll be interesting to see how that one shakes out.
Right, exactly, for sure. So, what other interesting moments? What was the biggest surprise for you this weekend so far? What blew you away?
So honestly, there's been a bunch of upsets that everybody's looked at each other and said, "Oh, that's the upset of the weekend." But I think if I had to pick one, Blake Robertson, who played for the final, Brandon Munoz was able to get him.
Yeah.
But Blake Robertson lost his first match of the weekend in open singles.
Really?
To Danny Andrade out of New York there, and that had to be, like I mentioned earlier, Jay taking down Tony and Kane was huge. But Jay's a pro. He's had a top 10 finish in open singles at the World Championship before.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely never beaten calibers at that level, to my knowledge. I don't know that Tony's ever lost to a pro since he kind of established himself as who he is. But so that was a big one. But Blake coming off what he did at the Tornado Championships, dropping his first match, I feel like that probably had to be the upset of the weekend.
Yeah, no kidding. I would wonder how Blake is doing. I mean, we're only human beings, right? I mean, he was so focused at Tornado Championships, but I noticed his play tonight was not as intense, if that's a word.
And Tony commented on that while we were in the booth. He mentioned that him and Shannon good friends, so that they might have been having a little bit of fun with it. We did see him find the wall a few times on his rollover, probably more than we're used to seeing.
Yep.
But he found his groove at the end there of the match against Carlos and Brandon, and then in the match against Mario and Jake, you could just tell he had dialed back in and he was feeling it. So
right.
And obviously, after he dropped that first match, he collected himself and battled all the way back to get to the finals. So.
Understood.
It seems like he's found his groove.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I mean, this is as always, when you get 272 players in one place to go head to head for a weekend, anything can happen, and it's just exciting to see the results. Again, the youngsters coming in and to really start to fill in the shall we say the newbies coming in to take over. to start
Yeah.
to dominate this early on in their lives, it only bodes well for the sport.
Absolutely. And I mean, we're clearly looking at our next generation of top players. And it's just where's the ceiling is the question. And I think it's going to be pretty high for a lot of these players.
No doubt. Well, let's briefly chat about your next big event, which is Thunderdome. And what exactly are you expecting? What's that going to be like for you, do you think?
Well, I think the one thing that we all kind of know that's going to happen is that it's going to be a lot of fun for everybody. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's a lot on the line, and we all kind of ponied up and put a lot on the line to be there. But it's definitely going to be a fun one. There's a number of competitors here that will be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've developed kind of a different opinion on who I think maybe the teams to beat are after seeing some of these teams play that I hadn't really paid attention to before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a battle, and I mean, there's not going to be an easy match to be played.
Right. Right. Understood.
Especially the Bama Boys, I think is their team name.
The Bama Boys.
Yeah, I think they're an amateur team out of Alabama, but Stephen Darby and his partner Alan had a lot of success this weekend. Stephen, I believe, won the USTSO amateur championship. He finished second to Jake Barnett at amateur singles at Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing like they mean it, and they're going to be very good. Obviously, we mentioned Greg Rushing and Rob Balza. So just a couple teams that I wasn't really super familiar with that are all of a sudden I'm now really, really worried about. So
Interesting.
it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah,
the one thing I think everybody agrees on is we're definitely going to go down there and have some fun. So.
Oh yeah, and it's again Pompano Beach at 26 Degree Brewery. Is that what the place is called?
Yep, 26 Degrees Brewing, right there in Pompano, and block and a half from the beach. A beautiful area. It's being February. It'll be a much drastically different scene than what we've got going on this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's currently like 28 degrees out, and that's one of the warmer evenings we've had here.
Wow.
So it'll be nice to have a change of scenery for sure.
Well,
but,
let me just bring you up to speed as to the Northeast just for the moment here. If I look at my outside temperature, it's currently 10 above, which is considerable improvement from last night because it was about this time last night. It was around 3. So,
well, at least you're still above, right?
Yeah, still above 0.
Yeah, I heard you guys are getting hammered. You got some snow dumped on you.
Well, actually, in our place here in Saratoga Springs, we actually were very lucky. We got about an inch and a half max.
Oh,
yeah.
Bad.
Whereas the coast, I know parts of Boston, Rhode Island, Providence especially got over 2 feet in some cases.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was mostly coastal, and the wind and, of course, the surf coming onto the shore along the East Coast was just brutal. 3 to 4 feet of storm surge. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was brutal, but it went by quickly. But yeah, I mean, we in upstate New York, we think of 2 feet of snow as simply a dusting.
Yeah, exactly.
It's no big deal.
It's a 90-minute delay for the school kids, right?
You get out of bed and get to school. Right? Just go.
Yeah.
Go to work. So, but anyway, so of course with Thunderdome coming up, what else have you got going? Are you going to be doing any play-by-play during the Thunderdome?
Actually, I've been informed that we've been banned from anything inside Foos that weekend. Jimmy and I.
Really?
We always love to help out, even if we're not getting on air. We always love to help out. But I mean, I appreciate it. It's Adam and Mark realizing that. This event is not like a normal tournament where you get to have fun and things like that.
Oh, right.
To be there and compete. So they've banned us in order to allow us to focus. So that's nice. And
okay.
Be able to focus on playing. But yeah, I mean, obviously I would love to help out, but if they need me, I'll answer the call. But in the meantime, I think the entire gang, I think, is going to be on site there. So it should be a good one.
Yeah, no, it's no doubt it's going to be a lot of fun. No doubt about that. And really looking forward to getting a chance to watch that as well. This, of course, will be envious of those of you who are handing out, with Bermuda shorts and sandals. That's fine. Go ahead and do that. Be that way. That's cool.
Yeah, well, it's the beauty of the South. It's times like these where I'm reminded why I left Connecticut back in the day. But
right.
Yeah, we'll definitely be looking forward to that one, and it'll be cool to see the whole gang. And the cool thing about that one that you guys have already mentioned is that we're going to have a little bit of downtime.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So we'll be able to enjoy the area, enjoy each other's company, and
Well, I think
a little camaraderie amongst competitors.
And I think the most interesting thing that may come from this is how do people react, or how does it differ when it comes to playing with the Swiss system with this tournament, because it is completely different from what's been happening of late here in the States when it comes to the majors. So will this be a pivot point, or will this just be an experiment? Who knows?
Yeah, and it only time will tell. That's and I've heard a lot of people here saying that they're excited about that.
Okay.
That format where we're just going to play while we're playing, and then when we're not, and we're probably going to be playing a lot of foosball. I don't know that everybody really realizes that it's going to be a ton of foosball that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we will only be doing it for 8 or 9 hours a day, but we're pretty much going to be playing the entire time.
Yeah, there's
not going to be a lot of hurry up and wait and the usual tournament stuff. So
especially when they've got a lot of tables in the Swiss system, of course, it just you're always playing with someone different. Personally, I think that's a much better way to go.
They did decide on the monster format for the 2 draws. Originally, it was just going to be the 1, but they decided for 2. And doing the monster it removes a little bit of the from a competitive event like that, specifically with the designated. I say that as somebody who's primarily focused on their forward game.
Right.
If I draw somebody better than higher ranked than me, and I get to play forward for them, okay, I feel pretty confident. But if I get someone lower ranked than me and I have to get them back, then all of a sudden I'm in trouble. So
I got you.
I'm glad they kind of landed on that, and it'll definitely. I mean, I really do think that'll give us the best picture of who the top competitor is that weekend, which is obviously the whole point. So
yeah,
it'll be cool to see how it all plays out.
Well, it's exciting, and I can't wait to see what happens. And of course, we're still we've got another several hours left to go here for Kentucky States. So
yeah, and still a few of the smaller events kicking off here at the end of the night. So it'll be a late one for us here on the ground. But if you're watching at home, the big marquee events, like I said, Women's Open Doubles going on now, and then the Open Doubles final will be up in just shortly after that.
Nice.
So still a lot of good foosball to watch at InsideFoos.com.
Yeah, and we'll be hearing your voice, of course, during these play-by-play events, and we're looking forward to that. But yes, so log on to InsideFoos.com. If you're not a subscriber, what are you waiting for? Come on. I mean, it's a lot of great foosball, and you get a chance to see some of the best players on the planet doing their thing on a continuous basis. So, what's the downside of that, right?
Exactly.
So Keith, thank you so much for taking the time to spend on FoosTalk Live. We are grateful, to say the least, for you to take the time out, because I know it's been a very busy weekend. But you're certainly a trooper, and we appreciate your time.
Well, Tom, thanks for having me. Always happy to be here, and you guys enjoy the rest of the evening and go watch some good foosball.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be joining you shortly.
After you're done listening, Tom.
Yeah, of course. So it is FoosTalk Live after all, and we're looking forward to next week's episode with the Kang. The team will be back. But in the meantime, of course, this has been a special event, talking to Keith Glen live from Kentucky State Championships, the 2022 edition, the 30th anniversary, by the way. A big weekend there in Kentucky, and we hope you get a chance to watch the rest of the matches later on this evening. In the meantime, we're going to be cutting it short for FoosTalk Live, but thanks very much for your support and tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your evening. FoosTalk Live is a product of Inside Foos, all rights reserved. Brought to you in part by InsideFoos.com, Protectoflex, Rodlock, 518 Prince, Foosballers the Movie, the USTSO, and Foosball Clubs USA. Tune in again next week for another episode of FoosTalk Live. In the meantime,
we'll see you foozin'.